Well, hi there. It's Monday, and in my corner of the world, it is 85 degrees Fahrenheit, which is very hot, and it's sunny out, and it's absolutely gorgeous. It's my absolute favorite weather. And first of all, I'm so thrilled you're here. Thank you. And especially if you're listening to the replay, thank you so much. Earlier today, I was outside taking a walk and just kind of bringing in, it's just so gorgeous. The flowers are blooming. We have animals all over our neighborhood. I saw deer and bunnies, and if you know me, you know I love that. And I just kind of feel like they're adding to my vibe of what's been on my mind lately. And so, first of all, if you noticed my potato and my carrot emoji is because I want to talk about root level things that are deeper than just the surface. So if anybody was wondering why I put the food up, that is the reason. But I really wanted to talk about how do you build stronger connections. And it kind of came up to me while I was walking because it's the end of summer. Oh, I see I've got a lot of glare on my glasses. It's coming toward, I should say, the end of the summer. And many kids have already gone back to school. And others are getting ready to go back to school. And it's always kind of coming into fall or autumn, or especially on this side of the world where I kind of begin to feel like things are changing, people are growing. And with kids, especially kids going off to college, not even especially, with kids going off to school, colleges, whatever grade they are, it's kind of like an end of an era because this summer's coming to an end. And for me, I always wanted some kind of strong connection with my daughters. I kind of wanted to leave them with something memorable, or there was something that they were growing through, which I wished so bad that they would give me the opportunity to discuss with them. And it's almost on the exact same vein as I talk to women who are having a hard time conveying what's in their heart to their husbands or significant others or whoever, that you have something that you want to share with them that you know would help them, or sorry, my computer just turned off and I should really find out that I'm in the right place. And it's really hard when the other person cuts you off or doesn't listen or doesn't give you the time. And so what ends up happening is we share things that are very surface level. How was your day? What did you have for lunch? I really like your outfit. Your mom called, you're going here, you're going there. Is so much surface level that goes on. And what happens is it keeps you very frustrated because you're not connecting. You're not getting that closeness through connection. So I really wanted to talk about a little bit more of how you get past that surface level, especially if you have a message that you want to share with someone. I know I'm going to start with my kids because working with kids is sometimes easier than working with your husband or a significant other or somebody that maybe doesn't want to hear you and keeps cutting you off. So when I think about when I had something I wanted to share with my kids, and well, now they're out of the house, but when I was picking them up at school, and we'll talk about that next phase in a second, it was always easier for me if we were in the car driving and that we were both looking out the window. So you're not really looking at each other, and then you don't have that uncomfortableness. It's a little bit more easy. But I think that the number one thing to really connecting with someone is knowing when the right moment is. And the only way you can really feel that right moment is when you can feel it. So, I often just think to myself, I will know when the time is right. I'm going to see who's on. Oh, hi, Karen. Thanks so much for being here. So I always felt like as though I were driving, I would know when the moment was right. And when the moment's right, you don't want to just jump in and start talking. What you want to do is open them up first and understand what they're going through. And maybe try to get down to understanding their level, and I'm not saying their level is low, whatever level that is, their level of understanding of something. You have to be on the same plane for them to understand what it is you're trying to get across. And by giving them the platform first to really coming to understand what they're thinking, it opens up so much. So first, the timing has to be right. You can't just, when a kid comes home from school and they're hungry and they're, stressed, they have a lot to do, start telling them something. The time has to be right, and that's exactly the same with your husband. Whether it's out to dinner, where I happen to talk to my husband very easily, is when we're out at a restaurant sitting at some kind of high bar table, and we're at the very same level. But with children, it's the same. You have to get down to what they're doing. Now, my sister was in town a few weeks back, and we had some situations where she was really upset. And so I said to I didn't understand a word of what she was saying, so that night I sat up and listened to her. I listened to her tell me from her point of view, from a very upset, she started out very upset, very troublesome, very uptight, and her voice was really high, all the things that had happened. And I realized that I hadn't understood anything from her point of view. And so once I understood and could comprehend how she was feeling, it was so much easier for me to share my message with her. And actually, my message with her, as part of how this came to light, is my message with her was that she was understanding people on their surface level. And she was upset that she felt that people only saw her on a surface level. So it was a really good entree to really starting to think about this. She didn't want anybody to talk to her on a surface level, so I tried to open her eyes to see that she's got to also start looking at them in that manner. So number one is making sure in your heart the timing is right. Number two, give them the open platform to get started first, and make sure that they know or they can feel that your understanding and your, what is the word it just had in my head? I'll come back to the word. Okay, your understanding, your, not sympathy, because it's not always sympathy, but just kind of some warm feelings around it. If they understand that, or if they feel as though you're listening, that always makes people feel so much better, knowing that they're listened to and that they've been heard. You always want to make sure that they're heard, and then you can bring it. And I've got a note here, so I want to make sure I don't miss it. I almost did come back to the next one. So we've now opened a place of conversation. Anytime you allow for interchange from showing someone how you're feeling, and you show how you feel for someone by how much you listen, how much you give them the time, give your time to understand what their understanding of something is, or what they have to say about something. So my next point was really show them that they care. And the best way to show someone that you care is really by listening and understanding what they're going through. And if you've met these other criteria, timing is right, you've listened to what they have to say, you've opened up space, so to speak, for them, you've given them time and understanding, and had them help them feel that you have compassion. That was the word I was looking for earlier. You have compassion and you feel for them, then it's now your turn, if and only if the timing is still right. So if the timing, and this is just something that you feel from your gut, from a soul level, if the timing is still right, you can share what you wanted to share with them from your deep level. And the reason I say the timing may not be right is because once they've gotten it out, maybe they may cut you off. That's a release in that. There's a release in allowing them to talk. And so what you just simply do is you wait for the next opening. Timing is so important when you're sharing your message and when you want to get something deep and lower than just that surface where there's a deep and true connection. And then the fifth step in this is, if the time was right and you told them whatever it is that was on your mind that was bothering you, or maybe you had a different solution, whatever it is, whether you told them at that moment or waited till another moment and finally got that out to share, sometimes what you really need to do is wait and let that sink in for them. there might not be the response that you wanted right away. And I think over the years dealing with girls, and I know Karen, you're still on, I'm sorry, I can't see what you're writing, but I appreciate your hearts. Especially dealing with girls, you know, sometimes you just have to let it sink in. You can't right away say, what do you think? Are you going to do that? Is that something that's right for you? You wait and you let it sink in. And I know that this has worked magically for many other relationships in my life, not only my children. I share some type of idea, I share something that's been on my mind, something that has been aggravating me or whatever it is, and then I let it sink in. And you know, sometimes people need, and I know I need personally, just time to allow that to evolve, to think about it, to have it while they're driving out of the blue come up, and they think, oh, yeah, now that makes sense. But you have to let it sink in, you have to let it evolve. So that is my Monday message. Karen, thank you so much for getting on with me. I appreciate your hearts. And you know, if you want to create any type of relationship or recreate, and you know, and sometimes at this age of our life and this stage and this next phase when we're rising to whoever we want to step into, whoever you are becoming, you have to continue to have those tough conversations. It's always about, you know, surface is fine, but if you want to create that deep and lasting connection, I don't care who it is, any age child, clients, significant others, children, husbands, you need to get out your deep message. You need to connect on a level much deeper, the root level. And so those are my 5 steps. I hope they were helpful. I'm so thrilled you're here. Thank you so much, and have a great day wherever you are in the world. Talk soon. Bye-bye.